Okay, so I have this Bible right here. I have this Bible, the Archaeological Study Bible, which is the New International Version. If we go to page 1661, it talks about the ending of the Gospel of Mark. And it says that Codex Bezae includes Mark 16:9-20, whereas Codex Vaticanus does not. Now, if we read further here, it says in the two oldest Greek manuscripts and in a number of ancient versions, Mark's gospel ends with Mark 16, verse 8. Clement of Alexandria and Oregon show no knowledge of any ending of this gospel account beyond verse 8, and Espusus and Jerome affirm that nearly all Greek manuscripts known to them were concluded with this verse. Many scholars believe that this is indeed the point at which the original gospel probably ended, and suggest that the other endings are very likely developed during the 2nd century after the Gospel of Mark was read alongside other gospels and appeared by comparison to lack of satisfactory conclusion. So, according to, further, if we read the beginning, it says the earliest Greek the earliest Greek manuscripts with that ending is from the 5th century, but evidence from the church fathers suggests that it was already in existence during the 2nd century. Many scholars feel, however, that the vocabulary and themes of the traditional ending are inconsistent with the rest of the gospel. So, according to New Testament, according to Christian scholars, they say that the Gospel of Mark ended in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 16, verse 8. And there was a whole ending added to the Gospel of Mark. That means that the Gospel of Mark ended with the empty tomb and did not have any resurrection narrative. The resurrection narrative in the Gospel of Mark was added sometime during the 2nd century. So the Gospel of Mark ended with the empty tomb and not the resurrection appearances. So that further affirms, the theory that Jesus was translated or assumed into heaven from the tomb, and that explains the empty tomb. In the earliest gospel, the Gospel of Mark, did not have a resurrection appearance. So that means that the resurrection narrative was added later, at least in the Gospel of Mark. And Matthew, Luke, and John probably copied, made up their own versions of the resurrection, et cetera, et cetera. But the earliest gospel, the Gospel of Mark, did not have the resurrection of Jesus, proving that it was added later on and it wasn't part of the original story.